So how tired are you? You tired? You just did what? 18 and a half straight hours of something?
I wish. Yeah, no, it's not like when we were in college where you kind of have to like rest. You don't rest up or anything. Like you take a nap before the final exam, and then somebody who's in your class knocks on your door at 6:55. The final exam's at 7:30. Get up. Literally, it's like bang. Smashing on your door, trying to make sure that either awake.
Wake up. Let's go.
Your head's on the desk. And it's like. Come on, dude, we got our astronomy final at 7:30. Let's go. But no,
did you take astronomy? Do you ever take astronomy?
Yeah, I did. I got a B+.
You did?
Yeah.
Okay.
It was an elective, and and it worked in the time frame that you could fit it in, and so astronomy, and I got a B+, and I got out the door.
Out of this world, maybe. I guess, perhaps.
Stop.
Hey, it's early. Oh, not even a minute in. Not even 60 seconds. This is North-South. Oh, come on. You love it. Ryan Payton, John Nelson, good to see you again.
Mm-hmm.
We're back. Yeah. Hey, did you see the individual who on X on Twitter who commented on the logo?
No.
See what he said?
No.
He said, "Hold on a second. How come Canada is smaller if you look at the logo above your head?" Well, it's kind of tough for you to do that.
No,
yeah, there it is.
It's like over. Yeah, it's like.
Yeah. So they were saying, how come that's smaller than the U.S.? Specifically to landmass. So essentially they're saying that Canadian graphic should be bigger. I didn't reply. I have a few other things on the go, but maybe I'll get to that at some point.
I mean, it's just, you're sitting there and you're trying to figure out, okay, how do we squeeze two big countries into one small logo? And you go from one corner to the other. And
right.
It probably was just a mock-up and everything. But the thing is, if you look at the logo, the word north is bigger than the word south.
Okay, right. So it balances it out then.
Yeah. So the Canada picture is smaller, but the word north is bigger. And the word south is smaller, and the U.S. landmass representation is bigger. So you're 2 for 2. It's a wash.
Well, I do what I can.
Yeah.
Hey, if you're 3 for 3, you bat 300 in baseball. Well, you're doing something right. Speaking of that, we're going to get into the Major League Baseball playoffs. Down to 4. It very quickly could be down to 3. The Dodgers look unbeatable.
Yes.
We'll talk about too what happened last night. Max Scherzer saying to John Schneider, "No. You go back. You're not pulling me. I'm Mad Max, man. You're not pulling me out."
Piss him off.
I loved it. We'll go into the Chiefs, too. I saw this story about how the league, over the last number of years, a recent study and a poll came out saying that Kansas City does benefit with certain calls over the course of a year. So we'll dive into that. Got some numbers on the amount of money that LIV has lost, the golf tour. Sure. It is extraordinary.
They don't care.
And guess what, too? They're having discount ticket sales at Costco for Ottawa Senators games.
Of course they are.
The injury to Brady Tkachuk, that's what happens. Go to Costco, get 2 for 1.
Well, so maybe how much room do they have under the cap? They can get a Zeller's version of Brady Tkachuk.
Oh my gosh, man! I have not heard that. I have not heard that word in so long.
Go get arrow bars at Zellers, or maybe I don't know. Maybe you get a pizza version of Brady Tkachuk because that's what you might have left under the cap. I don't know.
Yeah, that's a tough loss. We'll get into that.
Gretzky Steakhouse and get a new Brady Tkachuk. I don't know if we can afford it on that menu. I don't know.
Do whatever. So the Jays and the Mariners, John, it was 2-0 Seattle after the first 2 games in the ALCS.
Mm-hmm.
And since then, of course, the Jays have come back to win Game 3 and 4. Game 5 tonight, and then it's going to go back to Toronto, obviously, because it's now tied to 2 best of 3, and then we'll see what happens after that in Game 6. But they got to get through Game 5 first. Speaking of getting through, Max Scherzer.
Pissed
said
him
this
off
the top. Yeah, this guy's 41. He's going to the Hall of Fame. He is one of the most interesting characters in baseball, not just the game today, but in history. Did you know, by the way, too, that he has one of his contracts is still ongoing with either Texas or the Mets? And he's kind of got like a Bobby Bonilla thing, but it's a lot more. So this past July, I think he got a check for $18.5 million, something like that. And I think he gets it next year and the year after that. Anyway, point is this. He came out, he threw the lights out of his arm, he was dynamite. And John Schneider came out. The Jays were winning the 5th. I believe it was the 5th. John Schneider comes out. There was a couple of hit balls that were, they were out. And I think there was a guy in first base. And John's like, I don't know if you should come. Maybe you should. Max, and I didn't know this too about Max. He has 2 different color eyes. I did not know that. I did not know that.
Did
So
not know
Schneider said
that.
after, yeah, he came out. He's looking at Max. Max is staring at him with two different, just glaring at him, saying, no, no, no. Comes out. Schneider does, right, you're going to kill me? Okay, great. See ya. Then he leaves, and Max finished the job. I got to give him credit, John. That was a very gutsy outing by Max Scherzer.
Don't piss off Max Scherzer. I mean, that's basically the bottom line in all of this. It's like if Max tells you, get the ish away from me, and you know, or we're really going to have a blanking problem, then yeah, I'm going to sit there and I'm a bleed a man. So look, as one of the all-time grappling competitor types, that it's going to be, you know, one of those that just don't piss him off. There are folks you don't piss off.
No, and it's him. It's him. You mentioned grappling, and that's a great word to describe him. That's a great word to describe Max Scherzer. And I noticed last night, too, in the game, that he went from, I think the fastball was at just over 95. Before that, it was maybe 93, 94. And I was thinking to myself when I heard the commentary, I thought, okay, is that a huge difference in 1 or 1.5 miles an hour? No, it's not. But when a baseball's coming at you, it is. And then he dropped some curveballs, John, at 77.
Yeah.
So the fact is, he had Seattle's hitters that are very, very good completely off their rhythm.
Mm-hmm. And that X number of miles an hour really doesn't matter. All you've got to do is look at Greg Maddux.
Well said.
Greg Maddux is throwing high 80s, low 90s with his fastball. It's where he places it and what he follows it up with. Because if you're throwing cheese and then you bring in the hook that's like 77 and you're trying to go on a fastball and you're trying to figure it out and go, yeah, this is not going to be, I'm going to guess dead red.
Mm-hmm.
You end up with a 77 mile an hour curveball coming at you. You're going to look like an idiot. And the experienced pitchers know how to dial it up. They know how to use the count. They know how to figure out what the weaknesses are. They know how to use the plate and framing and all these kinds of things. So for Max to go and drop 15 miles an hour, you're looking like a fool. And look, don't piss him off. If he wants to go 5 2/3, let him go 5 2/3. If he wants to blow out his arm, let him blow out his arm, because he's going to go out on his own terms. And don't piss him off.
Great comparable to Greg Maddux. Remember the great Braves pitchers, John Smoltz, Greg Maddux, Tommy Glavine, Avery as well. They were just dynamite. But what they did, they pitched. I think a lot of pitchers in baseball now, they throw. They throw the ball. To get to 100 is way more significant and important. But what we saw last night, yes, granted, Max Scherzer's a lot of years on the arm. Totally understand that. But he pitches, he locates, and that, I think, is an art that is getting lost in pitchers in Major League Baseball and in baseball in general, because I think you're taught when you're younger, throw the lights out. You're 15, 16 years old, and you can hit, I don't know, 80, 85, 99. Hey, you're in line for a good contract and a good career in baseball. That's fine, but if you want to last, you got to adapt. He's back on the miles and keep them going on the arm, but frame the pitches. So you make a good point about it.
Pitching and throwing are two different things. A lot of the young pitchers throw. A lot of experienced pitchers pitch. And there's a difference there that you hope is learned one way or the other to turn things around in your career, because you add longevity to it. I mean, Jamie Moyer pitched.
Great example.
Pitched.
Yeah.
John Tudor pitched. And you know, Trevor Hoffman pitched. Dennis Eckersley pitched. You had Roger Clemens, who threw, but it was because of his sheer force, and Randy Johnson, who threw because of all of those things. That's the differences. Some pitchers can get away with throwing because of their style and their pitching, their rotation and how they approach everything pitch by pitch. Their motion and everything can dictate the difference between pitching and throwing. And if it's a natural motion, then you're fine. But that fine line of pitching versus throwing, that's what keeps you around.
The Dodgers in complete command of their NLCS, and it's really no surprise. It's kind of a given that the team's going to get back to the World Series. Sorry, John, about that, but I was going to bring out my Dodgers hat, but I decided...
Why not?
No,
where's the hat?
Just wait. I'm waiting.
Here's
what's happening. I'm waiting until the Dodgers and the Jays get in the World Series, and I've got one here, and I've got one here. Okay, so you just wait on that. And when I was looking at the payroll that the Dodgers have.
$9
The Dodgers
billion.
and one, so 90 gives it plus one. Their total payroll allocation, so it's not just given to the actual players, but the allocations in general, just north of 350 million. So that's ahead of the Mets at 342. I think 340 of that is given to Juan Soto, but that's a topic for another day.
Yeah, no doubt.
And then the Yankees. When it comes to the active roster, LA spends about just south of 270. The Mets 267, Phillies 226 and change. When the Dodgers took on Milwaukee in the series before, the Brewers ranked 22nd in total payroll allocation. That was 35% of what the Dodgers are spending, and then 17th on the active roster at about 87 mil, and the second is 32% of what LA is spending. If you have the money, that's fine. I'm going to maintain this when it comes to a cap in sports.
Good luck.
I like a salary cap. It makes things better.
Oh, but I mean, yeah, to your point, but I mean, Major League Baseball, you pay luxury tax. And
no, I understand that.
And if you want to go over the top, that's on you. If you think
that's on you,
if your profit margin is flexible enough to where you can slide pieces of paper over and sit there and cover any perceived loss.
Yeah, do whatever you want.
Yeah, fine. I get it completely. Do you?
Yeah.
Yes. Dodgers are spending $9 gazillion on payroll. That's their prerogative, and they better have the results that they're getting with all the money that they're spending, or there's going to be some folks that are probably going to lose their jobs over it, and it won't be the folks that are going to be the ones that are making $9 gazillion a year. I mean, it's going to be – so we brought him in, and you didn't do we were paying him $9 gazillion, and he didn't perform to the expectation level that we had. So, therefore, the individual that brought him in to pay him $9 gazillion is talking to the individuals below them on the on-the-field product. You didn't have him do his maximum. So, therefore,
Toronto, by the way, 5th in payroll, 193. Seattle, 101. So they're 16th in payroll. But again, the Dodgers lead that way. So I'm just saying, is it relative to winning? Well, yes, you spend more, you get the talent, you have a good nucleus around that, you got the best two-way player in ever, because I mean, Babe Ruth, hey, a great pitcher back then, fine, but you wouldn't cut it in this day and age of baseball. But you got Shohei and everybody else around that. So my point is that you pay to win, and right now the LA Dodgers are winning.
Yes, thank you for the reminder.
I want to bring this to your attention.
Oh, you do.
So this is I saw this today, and it has to do with the Kansas City Chiefs. Okay, so research conducted recently by UTEP, otherwise known as the University of Texas El Paso, they suggest that what we're seeing on the screen with the Chiefs being given calls, with the Chiefs not being penalized as much, if they get penalties on the other team, then they get more yards for them. That is an actual thing. In a span from 2015 to 2023, make of this what you will, in a data set spanning about 13,000 penalty calls, researchers did find, John, that postseason officiating is in favor of the Kansas City Chiefs. Penalties against KC opponents, they were 2.36 more yards than average. Flags were also 23% more likely in favor of Kansas City. And Patrick Mahomes gets 0.412 roughing the passer penalties per postseason game. That is higher than the league average. Is this even something to talk about besides we just doing that right now?
No.
Okay, let's move on.
Well, I mean, think about it this way. When the Chicago Bulls had their run with
they were good,
with some dude that you might know, some dude named Jordan, there was a book that came out entitled The Jordan Rules. And when that is put out there, yes, stars get preferential treatment. Yes, stars get the benefit of the doubt. Yes, you have to perform that much cleaner as an opponent going up against those athletes because of the cachet that they bring, because of the aura that they have, because of the ability that they have. So I'm looking at these numbers that you are presenting to me, and the short version of my massive commentary on this is big whoop.
Yeah, I agree. I agree.
It would be BFD, but I don't know if we could say that on a show. But it's big whoop. It's big blank whoop.
Yeah. No, I agree. And so the point there too is everybody who thinks that a league is in favor of another team, I don't know if there's a lot to that. I mean, certainly the league would love to have a guy like Mahomes and KC continue to do the run that they're on. There's other great teams in the league. The Eagles, a great team as well. They want to see the rest of that club keep moving in that direction, but it is what it is. Sometimes you have these stories.
Beat them, and then you get the same kind of deal.
No, I agree. You and I remember we talked about last time we did this show. We talked about live golf, and that was kind of it was beginning in and around that time. And you and I believe, if I'm not mistaken, we were on the same page that we thought, okay, this is a bit of a joke.
Whatever.
I'm not a fan of it. Whatever. I don't watch it. I haven't. I have no interest in it whatsoever.
Mm-mm.
They are burning money, John, like it's out of control. They have lost, just over this past year alone, almost $600 million, and Live Golf has lost $1.4 billion in the last 3.5 years. The revenue that Live brought in all year didn't even pay for the prize money that they gave out in the events. You can't even afford, just based on your league and that entity alone, to give the winner, and I think the winner gets $180 million every time, something like that. You can't afford to give them the prize money. You got to go in debt. And I mean, I understand the golf. Some great golfers on that tour. I'm not going to call it a tour. Great golfers on that spectacle. That's fine. It's exciting. Sure, they live it up. Get it? Live it up. Live. Thank you. But the point is, you're losing money. I understand who backs it. I understand that. All the money in the world, that's fine. It's not an issue. But when you see this would not fly, John, in any other sporting event or league or whatever. It just would not fly.
I don't know why anyone thinks that this is supposed to be a profit-making venture anyway. All you're doing is, with the individuals that created the tour, you are creating this visual spectacle. You are drawing attention to yourself and your sponsors and your approach and what you're doing and tossing money around. It is a write-off. If it breaks even, cool. If it ever makes a profit, like $2 or whatever, fine. It is a write-off. It is the shuffling of sheets and balance sheets and paper. What this is like when you go into your phone, and I don't know who you have for your banking institution these days, but let's just say you have the Lion. The Lion up north is whom you have as your banking institution. I imagine that the Lion has an app, and you can register all your accounts and answer all of your questions on your phone with the app where the Lion is staring at all of your finances every single day. You have on this app the capability of, if you have multiple accounts, say with the Lion, you want to transfer funds from one account to another, so you're covering your butt when it comes to expenses one place or the other. It's like, I've got a double car payment or something. I want to do that at the end of the year. So what you're doing is you go into the app, you sit there and go, okay, account number 2, transfer X amount of money to account number 1, and then everything's fine. You still have your 2 accounts. You still have the money that's associated with it. But what you've done is you've slid money from one account to the other to cover the expenses of whatever it is that you're trying to do. And at the end of the year, when your massive business, or when you're trying to pay taxes with His Majesty's Royalty and Customs, or whatever the equivalent is up in Canada, you're sitting there and you're going, okay, here's the money that I've spent with all of my things, and it's the money that you've earned one way or the other, and you present paper, and that's how you pay your taxes. With big business, they're sitting there and they're shuffling things to the left of the zero about 4 and 5 and 6 more places than we would ever know. And all this is taking money from one place, shuffling it into this tour, having it be this spectacle and exhibition and glam and fun house of golf, basically. And they don't care. if it makes money. It is to sit there and say, this is our way of doing something. This is our way of promoting. We wanted to pay for the biggest talent that is in this particular sport and see what we're doing. The only thing that's missing is putting it through the windmill in the clown's mouth and coming out the other side.
Hey, did you see? Hey, Happy Gilmore, look, there's only going to be one. I'm sorry. Two is terrible.
Look, Live to me at times comes across like Caddyshack 2.
Was thinking the same thing, John.
We all know how great a movie Caddyshack 2 was. Beat 2, 3, 4. This is shuffling paper. They don't care. I don't want.
Facts as well that, and I was reminded when I read this article, the contracts that were given to these golfers before. So the PGA, you don't give out contracts. Say, hey, we're going to sign a one-year no, you go through sponsorship, and if you want to make money, then you have to win, or at least get to the cut and play on the weekend, and you're guaranteed something, even if you finish last and however many golfers made the cut.
Yeah,
same thing on the
top 135 make it to the next year.
Right, whatever it is. John Rahm, his contract, $300 million. Lefty Mickelson, $200. Brooks Koepka, $130. The DJ, Dustin Johnson, $125. DeChambeau at $125. It's unbelievable to me that but to your point, you make great points. They don't care. They don't give a you-know-what. It's not about that. You're
doing this with finances. It's coming from other places, and the sponsors that are associated with it, they're sponsoring what's going on. But if it's all under the same subsidiaries and public funds and state-owned this and that and all this, this is what I would ask people when they are looking at new and shiny toys.
Mm-hmm.
Go to the top of the pyramid when it comes to the economics of it all. And then, as they said in All the President's Men, follow the money. Then you figure out, okay, so if this is associated with this, how does it impact this? How does it sit there and go, okay, this goes to here, this goes to here. It's all under the same umbrella. Now I understand, because all they're doing is taking something from column A, moving it to column B, something from column C over to column A, we have column D over here. And then all of it is intertwined. So when you see something like this and the numbers might bog you down a little bit when it comes to the sheer mass of it all, break it down into its finest parts. Follow the money and sit there and go, okay, A comes from B, B comes from C, C goes to A, and that's how it works. That is how multinational conglomerates will sit there and they'll shift things from one place to the other, and that's how you'll sit there and look at something and go, wow, they're really losing a lot of money, when in reality, because they're moving paper around, they're really not. And even if they are, it's a write-off, and with the power that they hold as a large corporation, it's all a wash.
It's like you can break it down into 18 holes. I think that would be the most specific thing you could do with that golf.
Clown's mouth windmill, putt for par.
Yeah, read what I'm. Who would like to make $431 per second?
Sure, I think I can hang him. I'll get there.
I think the majority would say yes. So speaking of money, Alexander Zverev, great tennis player, walked away with an appearance fee. An appearance fee just to show up. Just to show up. If you didn't play, whatever. Oh, I hurt my toe on the first serve. I'm done. Bye. Here's 1 point.
Oh, my arm.
Yeah. $1.5 million for an appearance fee. He lost to Taylor Fritz. It's an event called the Six Kings Slam. So the match, it lasted 58 minutes, so under an hour of work. You get an appearance fee of $1.5 million. That equals the 58 minutes, $25,000 per minute, or $431 per second.
Good on you.
Sign me up.
If somebody wants to sit there and go, hey,
we're not saying no.
Yeah,
we're not saying no.
Hey, Alex, do you want to earn a cool $1.5 million?
Yeah.
Sure. What do I have to do?
Yeah.
Well, here's what you do. Well, we want you to play in this particular tournament. We'll pay for your flights. We'll let you know. We'll get you a PJ. You can go from wherever you're going. You'll hop on a private jet because we needs a private jet. And then or you're flying first class or whatever. You're flying in the big guppy planes, and you're going from point A to point B, and everything's fine. Everything's paid for. Look,
what's a guppy plane?
Those old 747s, like the old transatlantic flights that had upstairs that had separate for, like, if you were paying like an incredible amount of money to sit in first class, you go upstairs to the to the nightclub or whatever. Those old 747s. So, but I don't know if we have those big, the big humpback planes anymore. But anyway, literally, if somebody comes to you and says, "Hey, Ryan Payton, would you like to go to, let's say the CN Tower and the folks that run the CNE. Hey, Ryan Payton, would you like to host an event at the CN Tower in and around the Molson Grand Prix of Toronto? We would give you free access and paddock passes and everything, and you get your own suite, and you get to, we'll bring you in a black Chevy Suburban limousine each and every day. You get to host what's going on. You have to say these words. You have to do this thing, and we'll pay you $11 billion to do it." Sure, okay.
Let me think about it.
Yeah.
No.
So, and that's the thing. Like, if someone knocks on your door and says, "Hey, bruh,
free money,"
you basically, you want to you want to hang out for an hour and kind of do your best to make it look good, or do your best and really, dive into it and see what happens after 58 minutes, and you walk away with $1.5 million. Good on you. There's always going to be people that want to do that thing until they don't have enough money to do it anymore. But still, dude, it's a good paycheck. Go for it. If you're gonna,
it is.
Yeah.
I'll take it.
It's up to you if you want to take it, but most of the time you're going to say yes, especially in tennis.
One of the stories in the early season of the National Hockey League are the injuries to pretty significant stars, a lot of them on Florida. Half the team is out, but that's okay. Bill Zito's going to find a way at the deadline to sign all these guys. Maybe he'll sign McDavid and Eichel. Just bring them in for a couple months, get them under the cap. No, I know that's not good, but you know what I'm saying. He'll find a way. Anyway, Kachuk is out, Kulikov is out, I'm talking about Florida, Barkov is out, and who knows who else is going to be out. We don't want that, but it is. Anyway, the other Kachuk brother, Brady, is now out in Ottawa. That to me is a much more significant injury than the Matthew one. He's rehabbing from the surgery he had in the offseason than in the Florida system. Right now, John, at Costco, there are discounted Ottawa Senators tickets. And if I'm zooming in here, you see Ottawa Senators, 2 seats in the 100 level, and you get an all-beef hot dog,
sweet,
or a Polish sausage,
sweet,
a 20-ounce pop, free refills, all for $201.49 Canadian.
I mean, the hot dogs are awesome at Costco.
I've seen tickets before at Costco. I don't go very often. I have gone
I don't
more
have a membership, so I can't really say anything. But what I have heard is the Costco hot dogs are amazing.
No, they're fantastic. Some people just go, they walk in, and I'm sure they buy, well, you can't buy one thing. If you buy an orange, it's the size of a pumpkin, right? So if you buy one thing.
I'm here to buy produce. Okay, we're going to send you over there. Hey, wait a second. This apple's the size of the Yukon. Okay, great. And so, hey, look at this fruit salad. It's the size of Lake Ontario. Oh no.
Yeah. And there's 55 different fruits in that fruit salad.
Like, what is this fruit? Oh, I don't know. Here's the list of the fruits here. Sort it out for yourself. You go on Wikipedia, you Google. It's like, what is? You take a picture of it, and Siri sits there and looks at it and goes, "This is a fruit that is indigenous to New Zealand. Congratulations! It's out of season where you are, but it's in season in New Zealand. Congratulations, enjoy it on your fruit salad." So no, I mean, Costco's. Look, you could go and you can go get your oil changed in your car. You can get your transmission made. You can get cheap gasoline. Cheaper than Petro-Canada, I think.
Can eat.
Days. Yeah. So look, you go to Costco. The only thing, until they build the new arena in Nepean, Ontario, or therein, maybe they'll have a game out of Costco at this point. You see it out in the parking lot, If
you're tailgating at Costco for the game.
Yeah, 201 Canadian for 200 level seats and the dogs and everything. Well, for 15,000 Canadian, we could have a game of the Ottawa Senators at your Costco.
I can see that banner.
Yeah. You get the RAF with a flyover,
Yeah.
You get and you get to figure out who you want, since it's the Ryan Payton Classic at the local Costco, up toward Sault Ste. Marie. Literally you could bring in whoever you wanted on the Ryan Payton network, and you sit there and it's like, okay, on specialty, it's the Ryan Payton Classic from the Costco outside of Sault Ste. Marie, Ontario, where the Sioux Greyhounds are taking on the Ryan Payton All-Stars. And you could have like Freed, you'd be sitting there, and you bring in You bring in everybody from
Okay,
yeah.
you're going so far with this.
I mean, that'd be. This is what
I love
happens
it.
when you bring in Costco. I mean,
Yeah.
literally, you can sit there.
No, this is what happens when I
You
bring this
bring in
story
you
up
bring, you
with
bring
you.
in
When I bring this
James,
story up with you, this is what happens.
you bring in James and Freege and everybody, and you bring in Jay Onright to be the sideline guy. On the Ryan Payton Classic.
The whole gang.
You bring up Dang, and you have him. If you had Dang and you had Jay as your two sideline guys for this thing, that'd be epic. That would be fantastic. But yeah, the Ryan Payton Classic. I'm sure that there's a name your price involving the Ottawa Senators where you could move it to your favorite Costco up there in Sault Ste. Marie, or maybe up by Pearson, because then you'd really have flyovers up there if you did it up like in Brampton or something. You sit there, you get like the approach pattern for Pearson, and it just turns into flyovers every 90 seconds.
The air traffic control would be working overtime during that game for like the 3 hours or 5 hours total, tailgating including the game.
Fantastic.
Last one. Let's talk this. This is interesting. So I see it here. It's NFL coach plus rookie quarterback equals dismissal. Well, it doesn't always happen that way. But right now I'm going to highlight Cam Ward. As much as I don't want to, I'm going to highlight Cam Ward or low-light Cam Ward. So he's a rookie quarterback, Tennessee, number 1 pick, last year's draft. The Titans are a terrible team. They're 1-5. Ward's been sacked 25 times, most in the league. He ranks 30th in passer rating. Last time I checked, that's not very good.
No.
And he put his team's performance in these words. And I'm not usually, the mouth is clean, but he said, "We asked." It's pretty much how he summed it up.
So he was using the term for the back of your front.
That's correct.
As both a verb and a predicate now.
That is correct. Okay. So the team just let go of Brian Callahan. They've gone through 2 GMs in less than 3 years. There was a 0% chance, a negative percent chance Cam Ward was going to turn this team around. So they're a long way to go. But here's what's interesting. So Callahan was canned after 6 weeks with Ward.
Callahan!
Frank Reich was canned by the Panthers after 12 weeks with Bryce Young. Urban Meyer, was fired after 14 weeks with Trevor Lawrence, although it may have something to do with, I don't know, dancing with women in bars or something like that.
Dancing with the Stars, yes. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. The Bears did the same thing after 13 weeks with their head coach with Caleb Williams. So it's just, there is this expectation when you're the number 1 pick and you happen to be a quarterback, because 9 times out of 10, if you go number 1, you more than likely are a quarterback. That's pretty much how it goes. But when you go to a team like this, one person, you know this, John, one person cannot turn a team around, and they will not do it within one single season unless it's an anomaly. That does not happen. I don't put it when you're sacked 25 times, you put blame on Cam Ward? That's the D line.
You didn't run fast enough to get away from that pressure.
From the 350-pound behemoth that breaks through the D line every time I snap the ball.
And
it's ridiculous.
And if you're a Titans fan, it is the D line that got broken through to sack Cam Ward a lot. I don't know, but with
the O-line, yeah, that's what I'm saying.
With financials being what they are these days, the contracts are being signed, the expectations are always very high, the pressure is amplified now with all the money that's in play. That's where we are right now. And you have coaches on 18-month cycles. You have coaches like James Franklin in college that it's like you lose 3 in a row, and you go from 3-0 to 3-3. And I mean, there's obviously been some great work by the Athletic to say it wasn't just those 3 weeks, but you look at 3-3 and you see that. You see what happens at UCLA. You get a change of culture. You see what's going on. The expectation level is infinitely proportional to what is going on the field these days and the money that is invested. So money directly proportional to anticipated result, even if that is something that really isn't going to come to fruition immediately, even though the patience level of the folks that have done the investing and the drafting is less than what you would anticipate that it would.
We talked a lot about money during the show. I hope people got a good bang for their buck, John, with this show.
Well, let's make sure that the exchange rate was good to go, and that everybody was that you're driving over the Peace Bridge and you're going to the outlet mall, to get your shopping done, that kind of a thing. Right. And people just kind of leave their clothes that they pack in their trunk. They just leave them in the parking lot. Mm-hmm. We're the equivalent of that. We're the show that crosses over the Peace Bridge, has clothes in one bag, crossing over the border. We dump it in the parking lot, and then we come back with new stuff every week.
It's what we do. Last one on this day in 2009, John, speaking of Tennessee, Tom Brady threw 5 touchdowns in 1 quarter. And the final score, the New England Patriots 59, the Tennessee Titans 0.
What is this with you and the Tennessee Titans, this show?
I don't know. Money in Tennessee. Money in Tennessee today.
I mean, it's look, when Tom is mad,
I like to throw different, historical things at you sometimes.
Well,
so this is on this date. I love that.
Today, this is also the 36th year anniversary of the Loma Prieta earthquake that we had during the Fall Classic.
36 years.
1989, today. And it was some of the best television that was ever produced in a sports setting ever. When you had Al Michaels in a production truck helping Ted Koppel navigate through one of the most severe earthquakes that the Bay Area has ever had. The first 4 hours of coverage, and this is your required, let it play in the room and walk away. The first 4 hours is available on YouTube. All you have to do is find it, and you see ABC broadcast. And it takes you from the James Taylor Open into the Open where Al Michaels, Tim McCarver, Jim Palmer, they go through their bit. And then you have the earthquake happen. And Al and Tim thought that they were falling out of the back. They were falling out the window of the press box room that they were in at the time. But you go from there, and Al comes back on, and he says, that's the best intro that has ever happened in sports television, bar none. And 36 years, you can watch that first 4 hours of all of that broadcast with ABC and how they handled it, and having Al Michaels, someone who knew the area, to help out from a news perspective was great television, and it should be a lesson for journalism students around this hemisphere about you never know when you're going to be needed. If you're doing sports, you never know when you're going to be needed to do news. Make sure that you know enough about what's going on to help out in a situation like that, because you never know when you're going to get that call to the pen and your versatility is going to come through.
Who knows? Who knows?
I didn't nose.
Have a good weekend.
Sure, why not?
See ya.
Bye.